Welcome to Inspired by Design, the podcast where we explore the tools, stories, and insights to help you rediscover your authentic self and navigate life with less resistance. I'm Katie Rupert, a former hustle and grind overachiever on a thrilling and messy journey. I love to share what I'm learning and help others in self-discovery using human design. So, if you're seeking a way to move forward, let me be your weekly mindset coach and share stories to inspire you to action towards your unique purpose without the force or burnout.
For about 2 years, I had a Google Sheets that said podcast episode ideas. And I was so excited to bring that into the world. About a year ago, I finally released my very first episode, and it happened to be not one of those ideas, but an inspired session from my couch when I was really excited and energetic about how human design had helped me. And I recorded in one take that very first episode. It's technically episode 2 because I did a trailer. And it was called 2 Simple Ways Human Design Helped Me Enjoy My Life More. And I decided that since I am a sacral generator, manifesting generator, that I wanted to respond to myself. This is a trick that I use and I give to people that do readings with me. If you're a generator, especially if you're sacral and you're meant to respond to life with either that full-bodied, yes, I need that, I need to go to that right now in this moment, or it's a no or no for now. I say, when you have ideas, when you are excited, record them, jot them down so that you can respond to them later and use your gut to guide you for your next right step. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this anniversary episode, 1 year of this podcast. Thank you to all of our listeners, to the guests that share their time and their voice and their stories. I'm so grateful, beyond grateful. But I decided that the best thing to do is to take my own advice and to respond to content that I made before. So I went and I listened to the trailer episode. I listened to the first episode, and I just read through all of the names of the episodes and each one of them as I was walking through the 54 previous episodes. First of all, when I listened to myself with that trailer, I could be right back there, but I could just feel the energy of that Katie who wanted clarity for her life. She didn't have a clue what was coming. She just knew that if she took that first little step, that it would be messy, that it wasn't going to be perfect, but she just couldn't help it, had to take it, had to make sure that this step got taken. And I remember that was the only episode, that trailer, the only episode I recorded more than once. I think I recorded it 4 or 5 times. I had a script for it. I knew exactly what I wanted to say by the time that I recorded it. And it was a beautiful little, 5-minute episode. And it said everything I wanted to say. You could, it was bursting. If you have time, go listen to that 5-minute trailer. I was so excited that I don't think anyone could listen to that episode and not have a little more energy after listening to it, which is so adorable. I was so cute. I love it. I'm very proud of this podcast. And more so though, as I listened to that very first episode that was done, truly inspired by design. That's the name of it. And then the title of the first episode was 2 Ways Human Design Helped Me Like My Life More. It's just beautiful. I couldn't have seen how it would all come together, the journey, the arc, the story. As I look back, it's really that version, that Katie, she really wanted to be heard. She wanted to put her voice out there. She wanted to be too much and let the right people that could handle that too muchness listen. And for the people that didn't, they wouldn't listen, and that would be okay. And that was it was a journey of courage for me. And I thought it would really be mindset focused, tips and tricks every single week. But what it really seemed to become is me taking my own journey and bringing you alongside me. I knew I was starting a podcast, but it was really just a deeper conversation with myself. And I kind of love that, I kind of love that. One of the things I said was, I can't not do this. I have to make this podcast reality. Even if no one listens, I have to say these things, whatever they are. And it became less about me teaching and sharing the wisdom that I've learned and more about like me embodying it messy, me doing it, going first, if you will. And it's not about explaining human design or telling you how to live, but showing you that it can be done in real time and it doesn't have to be perfect. I think one of the big overarching themes, if you just look at the 54 episodes, is that overwhelm became a through line for me. I talked a lot about nervous system regulation, a lot about giving yourself permission, finding ease and flow, like finding the energy that you need to take that next right step. And I was consistent with that message, if you will. I never was overly worried about sounding polished. When I first started, I knew it was not going to be. I knew I wanted it to sound like me. But I noticed that as the episodes went on, I kind of dropped into what I liked doing. And so it helps me stay grounded when I'd have those conversations. I talk to this microphone as if I'm got you right in front of me. And I hope you feel that too. Anyway, I'm kind of going through to see what are the things that I learned. What did I take away from this year of podcasting? Because it was absolutely my most favorite thing. People ask me what I do, and I'm like, well, I do human design and coaching, pampered chef gal. I have a lot of fun. I do these workshops. I love retreats. I have talent. I know content. I know some things. But if I could just pick one thing, I love sharing on the podcast. I love the conversations. I love getting to be engaged and put this out into the world. So I hope that it served you. But if it didn't, it sure served me. Some of my favorite episodes were the one about the spleen center. I was able to tie overwhelm and like lightening your load without blowing up your life, right? The spleen center is about fear. And at the time I recorded that episode, I had a lot of fear that I was walking through. And so it was so personal to me, even though I don't think I shared too much personal antidotes in there. It really isn't about like what I'm exactly going through, but more like, wow, this is so relatable. I know my clients have told me they've gone through things like this. Now I'm experiencing it and embodying it. And okay, now I have something to share. And so I got to share in real time with these lived experiences that I was going through. I had a lot of aha moments personally live on the podcast with these conversations. I think the conversations were the most surprising to me. I thought that I would not enjoy the interviews as much because I had so much to say personally, but I found getting to have a conversation back and forth with someone that I love, respected, wanted to learn from, it actually gave the ability to pull more of what I know out for you guys to hear. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's true? I would love your feedback on this, and we can have a discussion in the Facebook group because we're going to keep that going. I've had a lot of fun with that. I started this podcast so that I could be brave and share what I'm doing, and hopefully that would then inspire women to take action. But what I didn't expect is how much it would help me stay accountable to taking my own advice, right? So many times as a teacher, as a speaker, I know these things intellectually and I then leave it up in my head. But when I was active listening with these conversations, or I was having the content. How could I say this that would support people, right? I'm thinking about others when I'm doing it. It required me to actually be in it and do it and try it and have stories about it. Like, how am I doing this in my life? And it was just a really nice built-in reflection point, you know? So what you can expect in this next year, year 2, yay, is probably a lot of the same. Honestly, I see this podcast as like a journey, like my little buddy that's going on the journey with me, right? You guys are right alongside of what I'm going through. And even if it's not the exact details, I know that if it's relating to my life, it's probably relating to yours too in some way. But we're going to have those deep conversations. We're going to have real life in real time reflections. I definitely will always be your bridge from mindset and movement and how you're wired to get energy and not have resistance. I'll always be working on that, like in the episode that we had with Matt Dixon, talking about how we're balancing, we're never balanced. So that is a theme of my life, and it will continue to be a theme of this podcast. I don't think I realized that overwhelm was going to be the theme that came out of this, but when I reflect on it, it makes sense because overwhelm is such a consistent, indulgent feeling or emotion, if you will, that I have experienced in my life. So I've tried so many ways and found some coping that helps, right? I sometimes talk about my toolbox or my tool belt that I have, all these things that have helped me out. But at the end of the day, like if we're all going to experience overwhelm and it keeps coming up in my life, even though I have those tools, it makes sense that it's a theme. It's not something that you fix and then it never comes back. It's something that you start to recognize, oh, like I know how to deal with this. This isn't a scary thing. And I definitely have really gotten comfortable speaking into this little white microphone. This podcast has felt like home to me. It's my baby. It's special. It's so special. So thanks for letting me gush about it. The other thing I wanted to share today is that I didn't do this podcast with a specific goal in mind, maybe like others do. Yes, I want to meet new people. I want to help people. That's so general, but I wanted to find my voice. I really had not been personally practiced on what is it that I believe? What do I think? What do I like? And that ended up being a theme of my year, really getting to know myself. Now, I would not have known that I didn't already know myself at the time I started. But it's just so interesting. Like, okay, there's the podcast that you heard, right? And then there's this rich experiential life that I was living while I was recording it. And of course that's true for you too, right? While you were listening, you were living your life and it was hitting you at certain points. But I had business pivots, like I was going down one road, I was doing a lot of trial and error. I tried different offers just because I didn't know what the right offer was. And that's the point. Like, I'm not going to know. I got to try them on. I got to respond to them. And I did let go of some that just weren't working for me. I just stopped gripping onto them, which is something that I teach. And my personal life, walking through a separation with my marriage of 20 years, that was such a growth opportunity for me. And now it's becoming more real to me after it's been right at just under a year when that all started to unfold, where, oh, I may not be married. Oh my goodness, like never expected that. And some weeks I recorded episodes about nervous system regulation while actively regulating my own and not keeping up all the time. Um, honestly, there were so many weeks where this podcast was just the anchor. I knew I was going to have something that I could put out on Friday that I created. That was something special that made me feel like I still have value to contribute to this world, even if I'm going through the hard times. And a lot of my life fell apart. I had to let go of a lot of structure and a lot of things that I had done for years and years and years, and just simply focus on taking care of myself. And one of the ways I did that was having an episode every week. It was a consistent, it was an anchor, and it was all mine. And I love that it's public too. It's so authentic to me that I'm going to involve other people in something personal without dragging you down. I love that. Like that's a win for me. Um, what else do I want to say? This year required me to make some very hard decisions. And because I was committed to this podcast, it was always in my face that my decisions are made from my gut as a response and not from my head. I needed that so, so badly this year. Like, what feels right? What can I do? What can I control? Working through acceptance work, figuring out how to choose myself and make that okay. You know, one of the things that I share with people on readings is what's best for you is what's best for everyone else. Period. End of story. And I needed that anchor more than any other time in my life, because in reality, I had never really embodied choosing myself first, or getting to a point where I really embodied the belief that I was sharing with other people. What's best for me is what's best for everyone else. Really harder in practice when it comes to the things you hold most dear. This year, I learned about peace, and what it takes to get to peace is, or can be, very uncomfortable at first. I learned that strength can look really weak to the naked eye. It can look like falling apart. It can look like you're dropping the ball. But taking care of yourself, peace, internal strength, it's not necessarily loud. It's not a push. It can literally just be a surrender. And I did that so much this year. There were even episodes that I would be very emotional, which I never considered myself an emotional person. I never cried in front of anyone that I can remember. I mean, maybe a tear or two at a funeral, or in an overwhelming moment with, I don't know, my mother. But this year, that all changed. And I just allowed myself to be whatever it was, and started trusting that the emotions that I had, they required and deserved the space that they needed to take, and the time. Oh my goodness, the slowdown this year was incredible. I finally, for the first time, allowed myself to rest, allowed myself to cry, allowed myself to do it in my own timing, or wait for the timing. Say no when it didn't make sense, say yes when it didn't make sense, and just trust my gut fully. I talked a lot about less overwhelm, more peace. That was one of my keys when I did those master classes. And behind the scenes, I was really making decisions that required me to live that message. If I'm overwhelmed, if I don't know what to do, what if I just do nothing and wait? Wow. All right. I knew that this episode would just be a stream of consciousness, just like talking about thoughts and feelings. There's no way that I could like put it all in, or that you'd want to listen to that. But 1 year anniversary, Katie understands better today that the clarity that I was seeking when I started that first episode, it could only come from that inspired action that comes through courage. And this year was so meaningful to me. The internal honesty that I allowed, I feel really proud. I feel really proud of it. I was surprised by how beautiful the conversations unfolded when I just trusted myself to listen and ask questions. Bringing my gifts to the table without overthinking them really ended up being best. I was surprised when people in the wild would come out and say they listened to the podcast and they liked it. I mean, just honored. But the thing about that was I could start to see the growth inside of me, because instead of me getting something from that fed that ego centered to feel validated that, oh yeah, I should keep doing the podcast because people like it. No, it was, I am so grateful for every rating, review, all of you guys that got the entries for my giveaway that's happening tomorrow. You know, so grateful. But I was able to kind of make that turn from seeking that external approval and validation, because this podcast has become that this is for me. I approve of it. I validate that it's valuable. And you're invited to a party. But I learned through the separation that I've been going through and divorce and all that, I learned that I had to be my own closure. I had to be my own permission. I had to do what's best for me and know that that's what's best for everyone in my life, even if they don't understand. I also learned that with the podcast. I had to do it my way, say the things I'm going to say. I'm sure there's plenty of critiques out there. There's plenty of accolades, plenty of praises, if you will. And yet the only thing that really ended up mattering at the end of the day was that I approved of this message. I approved of what I was saying and what I was sharing. And if it was good enough for me, then it was good enough. And living that out for the first time in real time, like I've just never been able to do that. It's always needed someone to be like, yeah, it's okay, or good job. Or I would say, what do you think of this? Can you just, let me know I'm okay. But I was able to do that for myself through this podcast. The podcast is awesome. I love it. It's good. It's valuable because I said so. And I truly and honestly, like, I have the closure that it's good enough, and that it's growing, and that there's something more for it. I have a big vision for it to become even more, but not something that's out of my reach, something that is already inside of me that's going to be uncovered. If this year taught me anything, it's that the work that we talk about here, the nervous system regulation, honoring your design, taking just that next right step, finding the trust, finding the self-love. It's not theory, it's survival, it's strength, it's practice. It's the art or the act of balancing or surrendering. And I'm not the same woman who pressed record last year. I'm really grateful for that. This last year has been absolutely the hardest, most challenging year of my life, but it is by far been the most beautiful year of growth. My favorite year that I've ever had. And sure, there's a lot to unpack on why, but I just want you to know that it is. So thank you for being part of it. And I can't wait for more. Gosh, I would love to know, how have you changed in this last year? I mean, I assume it's not because of this podcast like it has been for me, But what have you learned this year? And are any of the themes, like finding clarity through courage, or living by your design, or lightening your load by trying a few simple practical tips without blowing up your life? Have you learned to embrace yourself a little more? Have you been inspired to take any action? Maybe because of the podcast, well, that would be cool. But even if not, what have you done this year? I want to know, looking back, what is it? Why are you glad that you're here today? Thanks for being part of this journey. I feel like I have so much that I want to share, but I'm kind of in this like sweet little reflective mode, and I don't know what all those details are, but I'll put them in the show notes. And I am doing the giveaway of the connection chart reading. By the time you listen to this, it'll be the last day to get entries. So if you want to share this episode, if you want to share the podcast, do a quick review, or book your reading, I will get you entered to win. And I will be announcing that this weekend for Valentine's Day. Definitely look for, I've got a couple of workshops coming up. Flow by Design is one. It's a beginner yoga class all revolving around your energy type. So you can learn how to use your human design and apply that to your yoga practice. That's on the 27th of February. I've got a tea party coming up I'm so excited about on the 12th of April. I'm going to start doing workshops at the Chakra Healing Room. Gosh, I'm so excited about that. I love that place. And I am currently booking work teams. So if your work team could use something fresh, like learning their human design and how to support your team in that way, I would love to come and talk with you about that. All right, I'm going to just leave it at that. And I can't wait for next week. Thank you again for being here. And until next time, have a great one.
Thanks for tuning in to Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your takeaways, subscribe, or even leave a review to help others find the show. For more tools and insights, visit my free Facebook group. And until next time, keep embracing exactly who you are and move forward one inspired action at a time.